the same time, there's always a way. Like there's definitely always a way. And if if you have that drive or that willpower,
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
all right, we're live. This is episode 100 of the Action Takers podcast. If we had to listen to episode 1, how horrible do you think it would be?
I think it was pretty bad. We were not smooth at all with our transitions or anything. It was a pretty interesting episode. We should probably go back to listen to it just for nostalgia to be like, oh wow, that's where we started and now here we are.
It 100 doing 100 of anything I think is I think it's an impressive feat to be quite honest with you. Recording, carving out an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours every single week just to record a podcast. I think most people would be like, "Holy shit, that's a lot." But then you look at the grand scheme of things and how many hours in a day, and how many hours in a week, in a month, in a year. Like it really is not that big of a deal. And I'm glad we did it. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, I mean, 100 days of doing something essentially is what we're looking at. Even though I think we've spread it, it's been about 2 years since we are only doing one a week, but it is crazy to think about. To really kind of what what is something that you've done for 100 days. A lot of people don't do. They won't spend 100 days at the gym. They won't spend 100 days on a diet. They won't spend 100 days doing whatever it is that they say they're going to do. So to really be at this point for us. On top of it, it's two of us, right? We have to coordinate, making sure we're both on it. It's just that much extra of a work. And I don't know about you, but I know there are those days where sometimes you just don't feel like it. You're just not up to it. It's just like, ah, man, we have to be on this. But you still power through, and we still get it done. So it is definitely a big feat, especially in the grand scheme of being a top point one or less than a 1%, because I think it's 1%, it's 21 episodes, so we're way past that. So we're definitely getting to the top.
Yeah, I mean it's like you said, you got to outlast the beginners. You just got to outlast the folks who you know don't mind skipping a week here, skipping a week there, and then all of a sudden they haven't done an episode in multiple weeks and even months, and then really questioning if they want to continue this podcast journey because in the grand scheme of things, podcasting sounds and looks very sexy. I mean, you show up, you have a conversation, you hit publish, you get millions of downloads. Sponsors are just knocking down your door to pay you, millions of dollars every single year. It seems really glamorous, at the end, but during the beginning, and again, we're just scratching the surface. 100 episodes. If you and I sat down with Gary Vaynerchuk at 100 episodes, he'd be like, "Shit, you should be doing 100 episodes in like 4 days." Like fuck, never not stop doing a podcast. And it's one of those things that in the grand scheme of things, you can always take it to another level, and I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, for sure, because he's probably been on like
Did you see me
100
gleek on my
yeah, I
lens?
don't, is that what, I don't know what that
Oh my
was,
god.
but he's
Total
probably on
gleek.
100 different podcasts a year, maybe probably even more. That's probably cutting it short, the amount of stuff he does, but it's we there's always more you can do, and especially with this, it's a skill. It is, and we're barely scratching the surface, because it's being able to talk, being able to have someone else there, back and forth. It's there's a little bit more to it, and my first podcast that I started, I think I only lasted 6 or 7 episodes, and part of it was it was right before COVID. Boom, COVID hit, and then it kind of like craziness happened, and I just kind of stopped. But yeah, so my other podcast was part of the statistics. Only did 5 episodes or 6 episodes, whatever it was. And that was an interview style podcast where I would interview different people. So it's one of those things. And now we got this one, and building on this one. So it's the big thing is just, I think, the journey, right? Seeing how it where it's going. Every once in a while I get someone telling me, "Hey, I listened to your podcast," a friend or someone I know. So it's kind of cool. Like, oh, nice, because you don't even know. right? Who's actually doing it. It's not telling you, hey, John over here, listen to your podcast. You just know how many people, how many downloads, how many listens we get. So when someone does tell me they listen to it, it's always nice.
Because you don't know. I mean, you can look at the stats and, everyone and their mother can be like, oh, yeah, I listen to every episode. And you're like, cool. What was your favorite part? And they're like, the beginning, and you're like, fuck, okay, no big deal. And it's one of those things that, in the grand scheme of things, I did I think I did a YouTube video on it this week, but it's something that something that I think we even discussed that like I don't really care how many people actually listen as long as I enjoy doing it and I enjoy and believe that I'm bringing the value that I believe I'm bringing. And as soon as I stop bringing value, that's probably when I'll quit. And it's something that at least for me, it's I don't care if two people listen or 200 million people. It's one of those things that if you enjoy what you're doing and you are providing value and the two people that listen are out there crushing it, well then fuck, I've done my job.
Yeah, and it's just perspective how we've talked about, and a lot of people say, like if you had, even if only 10 people listened, if you had 10 people in a room, you're talking to them. I mean, that's a lot, right? Or if you 50 people, you had 50 people in the room, man, that's a lot of people to just be talking to. So it's sometimes it's perspective, and exactly, especially on videos and posting that stuff. It's I've really focused on, hey, this is something I want to say. This is the issue I'm having. I just posted a YouTube video, trying to catch up to you and doing these. It was only about like a minute and a half, but it was kind of trying to do more of a long format type video, and I was just talking about 3 things that bug me at the gym or that people should be doing at the gym. So it's something that I care about, and whether anyone else does, I don't know, but it's something I care about, and that's why I posted it, because I like it. And a lot of people don't necessarily post things they want to post or they want to talk about. Sometimes they're doing it for the likes or the views. So it's when you do that, when you create something that you create because you want it, you're going to do that much better at making it and posting it and having that content more valuable to people.
I did see your video. I watched I think 97 seconds of it. It's a minute 34 seconds. Get rid of the intro, Nate. Good God, no one
No,
cares about the intro. Just
yeah.
just jump into the damn thing. You were cracking
All
me up
right,
about,
I'll work on that for my next one.
not re-racking your weights. I'm like, Nate, you're not re-racking your weights right here on the show. I need the content now, it's but I no, I thought it was really good. I think it's something that, when you sit down, you put your mind out there, you put your thoughts out there into the world. It's fucking nerve-wracking, dude. It's scary. Like it's one of those things that, you have it on record. And I think a lot of people, love the idea of having things on record, love, the idea of putting themselves out there and becoming some type of, whatever the hell it is, an influencer or someone that builds up an audience. But in the grand scheme of things, like it's kind of nerve-wracking when you really think about, you know, how much you are putting on the line. I met a gentleman who I asked him, I'm like, why don't you do like a YouTube show or, a podcast or something? And he goes, well, to be honest with you, like if my employer doesn't like what I'm doing, they'll just fire me. And I was like, oh shit, I kind of forgot that, a lot of people are not in control of their own lives and they're being dictated on what they can and can't say. In that personal brand building. And I'm sure that'll change here in the next 5 to 10 years, but it was kind of a reminder of like, oh wow, like I actually have the freedom to pretty much say whatever I want. I mean, you can't go too crazy, especially because I don't live in the United States right now. But it was just a friendly reminder that, not a lot of people have that opportunity. And if you do, take advantage of it and say whatever the hell you want to say and, and keep rolling forward.
Yeah, for sure. With corporate and how much businesses actually will look into your social media, yeah, it can affect a lot of people. But if you're capable person, you should not have that worry about, have that worry, because you can, hey, I can go and find work somewhere else. So it's if you're someone saying things that could be controversial, well, make sure you can back it up with other things you can do.
It's the controversial take. I wanted your take on something. I created this diagram of someone with the doers or the hustlers in life, and then versus the waiters, or essentially the people who just wait for opportunities. They don't ever like go out there and and find their opportunity in life. And I had this analogy, and I posted the video, and I looked back at the analogy, and I realized I was like, that was a horrible analogy. And the hustler and the doer like didn't have a roof on their house because they had the freedom to like grow or like expand. And then someone on my YouTube comments were like, yeah, except the hustler, like, what happens when it rains or it snows? And I'm like, good point. But the doers got a roof on their head, like they're self-contained and they don't really have the freedom to go chase anything they want. Was that a horrible metaphor, or am I just losing it?
You talk about just the house, having a house and no roof, and
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I get where you were going with it, and it's I get it, and I have a kind of a different thing, right? Just being in sales, like, are you a tour guide, order taker, or are you a closer? What? How are you living your life? And it goes to a lot of things. I mean, yeah, people just waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the person to come in and say, "Hey, I'm ready to buy," or are you the person that's making the phone calls, uh, shaking hands, giving that good experience? So, I mean, it's there is the doer and the hustler versus the waiter, or however you want to call it. There's so many analogies, but I get where you're going with not having, basically not having a limit, not having that ceiling, they talk about. So I like it. But yeah, I get if someone's really critiquing, I guess they're more being a hater, which is good though. They're giving you feedback, whether it was good or bad. I don't know, but any type of feedback's always good.
I agree. It touches on the aspect of like, sometimes you put your idea out there and you don't really, you think it through and it makes sense in the moment, and then you hit publish, and then people start questioning, and you're like, oh shit, maybe that wasn't a great analogy. And you realize that sometimes there are some truth in the negativity in the comments, and sometimes you got to rethink, your strategy or whatever the hell you want to say in this world. And but I think it's having the balls to actually go out and say it. And it's one of those things that I was sitting down with a gentleman yesterday, and he was asking me about our travel YouTube channel, and he's like, "Oh, like how close are you to being monetized?" I'm like, "Oh, we're only a few hundred away." And he goes, "Why don't you just buy the subscribers and get you over that hump?" And I looked at him and I go, "Well, I mean, I'm an artist, so like I don't want that to be part of my story of buying subscribers." And he goes, "Well, who will ever know?" I go, "Well, me." And it was one of those things that kind of bothered me, that someone could just buy the followers in order to earn that badge, or that earn that opportunity to start making money, traveling full time, where I'm sitting there like grinding away at every single subscriber out there. And I was just immediately kind of pissed at this guy. I immediately was like, all right, you're not someone that I truly want to hang out with, because you're not playing by the rules. But at the same time, I started analyzing some other people that I look up to, and I realized that maybe they're not playing by the rules either.
I mean, I guess it depends how you're looking at it. That directly. Yeah, like what buying subscribers versus advertising versus paying, pay marketing, paying, giving things away to get people in your store, like whatever it is, I for sure, like, doing that is yeah, it's you see the person that has 10 posts and they got 15,000 Instagram subscribers, and you immediately know, especially in the world we are, especially how many DMs and emails you get for, hey, we'll give you 5,000 subscribe or followers or this or that. So majority of it's fake, and I don't know the whole analytics on it with YouTube, but I know YouTube is a lot harder to do that as far as getting subscribers, especially because they monetize specifically that stuff. So I don't know how hard or true it is to get the subscribers versus, on Instagram and some of these other places. Yeah, all of a sudden you'll have them, and the bots and stuff. So, but it is one of those things that it's sometimes you do have to listen to people's perspective, and maybe not directly what they're saying, but open up to other things like, well, okay, how can is there a way I can get more people to find about my channel that will get them to subscribe, that we, talk about versus just doing it the organic way, which is a good way. And I'm with you. It's fun. It's a challenge. I look at it every day. I post something. Okay, how many by this time? How many views do I got? Did I get any more subscribers? Cool. Like I see it as a game, right? It is, which it
Yeah.
is. It's like, hey, I'm posting this. I'm doing this. What am I doing? Am I doing it? Because it's your scorecard. This video I put out, how good was it? How many extra views did I get? Like I had a random reel, Instagram told me, hey, most of my reels lately have been getting 100 views. Hey, this one, don't you got 500 views? This one you got 1,000 views. I'm like, oh dang. I'm looking at it like I don't know what's so special. I've done a similar video on that similar machine before, but why this one happened to get extra views right now? Like, who knows? But maybe it was the angle it was a different angle shot it at. Maybe it was the tank top I was wearing. I don't know. But it's still one of those things for me is that that's just part of the game. That's part of the journey. That's part of the fun of it. Is like, cool, this video did better than all my other ones I've been doing every day. So, what is it? Why was it the music or the song I chose? So I don't know. For me, that's kind of the fun of it. And a lot of people probably think that's silly, but I don't know. That's my fun of what we do.
It's not, Nate. It's not fun. I'm gonna tell you right now, it drives me absolutely batshit crazy because if you are loving like what you're creating, it's really simple. Like just create what you love, upload it, and the views will come. Unless they don't, that's where playing this game of like editing in a certain way or talking about a certain subject. Dude, I will edit a video exactly like someone else. It's the same topic, but it's my perspective, it's my content. And it'll just absolutely flop. And then I'm like, what the hell? And then I'll post some random video that literally like one of our most popular videos. I think it's our third or fourth most popular long form video is the entire video. Okay. Me and my wife are sitting here like this talking, right? Except in the middle of the middle of the lens. I don't know what the hell that was. What the
That
hell
was
was
pretty
that
cool.
thing?
Hey, that was like a
What?
like for us. They say, hey, like our video. That's awesome. Hopefully, it stays in there. That's kind of cool.
That was the craziest, weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. If you're listening to this podcast, and you're listening to me blabber, then Nate, smirks, and I, am like not sure what's going on, but Zoom just threw like a thumbs up in the middle of the screen. Anyways, mind blowing. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but we were doing this podcast, me and my wife, and the entire video, like it's like 30 minutes long. My lens is focused on everything in the background except us. So both of our faces are blurred out, like completely. It's like it's the worst video in the world. And that video is one like it's our third or fourth most popular video on YouTube, and it's totally out of focus. The audio is like halfway decent, but it's so fucked up that I don't understand. I'm like, how are more people viewing this than like these highly curated 4K, 24, 30 frames, 60 frames per second movies that I like dedicate 10 to 15 hours to create or 20 hours to create. And then this one where we just sit down, we're out of focus, and we're just talking. How is like it doesn't make any sense to me. It frustrates the hell out of me.
It's the suspense. The audience is waiting for it to come, in focus. So they're like, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. That's why people, what is this out of focus video? Where's there that you hooked them? So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you got a hook there. Start the videos a little blurry so people, oh, shoot, where's he at? Boom. And then, I don't know.
I was listening to this copywriter, and they said in every single email marketing that they would do, they would misspell two words on purpose. And I was like, why the hell would they misspell two words on purpose? And they realized that if someone found a spelling error or a grammatical error, they were more likely to read the rest of the article to try and catch the other error. So they were more engaged. And I was like, that's fucking genius. Like, it's absolutely genius because every single video where I misspell like something in the title or on the thumbnail, I get 15 comments that are like, hey, dipshit, you don't know how to spell bored, or border is not spelled with an A, and I was like, it works. It really works. Like these are all things to get people's attention. And and how to manipulate people to watch your video. And I think it's something that maybe I'm going to try more of. I don't think I'm going to buy subscribers. I would feel really dirty doing that, just because I want to be able to tell the story of, hey, I started on YouTube. It took me 5 years to get started, and in 7 years I got to 1,000, and then in 8 years I got to 10 million or whatever, whatever that story is. I think the story is worth more than, oh, hey, I bought followers and then I made it. You know what I mean? Like I would rather struggle longer than, I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot, but that's the way it goes.
No, I mean and that's part of the story, right? That's when you're telling your story of um your adventures 3, YouTube, and you're on stage talking about it. That's part of it, right? Like, hey, it took me 7 years to get here, but then after that, just hockey stick, right? And so it's it's what it is, right? Even though a lot of people would probably buy it and add, oh yeah, I went here and then there, and they wouldn't ever say that they bought the followers or whatever it is, but it's it's part of the story. It's part of the journey that a lot of people don't enjoy, and when you are in it, you forget to enjoy part of it. You forget to enjoy the struggles, and that's just what makes it better. That makes the journey better, makes you better. And when you look back, it's in what we talked about. You don't realize it because we're always moving our baseline. We had this episode talking about it, where what we used to do, and to compare to what we do now, it's a slow change. And so, for you making these great videos all the time, that's just what you do, where you didn't used to be able to do that because your skills weren't there yet. So and they're probably going to keep getting even better. So I think it's when we're in it, it's hard to realize that journey, but yeah, when you can just kind of stop and really look at where you've come from, it's kind of exciting to see.
Well, so do you believe in the 10,000 hour rule?
Oh, for sure.
It's
Definitely.
okay, because it's one of those things that I didn't believe in that for a long time until I started editing these videos and making like long form content every single day, where we make a brand new video. Like, it's crazy because like there's certain things that I just do naturally now, that, and this is a weird example. So we checked into our brand new hotel. It's really exciting. It's fucking like 4 times as big as like the one that we just left in Playa del Carmen. And so we're pretty pumped up about it. But just the natural progression of like filming us coming into the room, it's to a point where my son's like, great, how many times we got to walk through the front door? I'm like, two. Okay, like chill. We walk in, we put the camera on, put the camera down, click it on record, we leave back with all our shit again, and then we walk in like we've never walked in before. Great, dad. When we go up the stairs, like, can I just go first and check it out, and then can we fake that I walked up here, and saw it for the first time? I'm like, sure, buddy, yeah, no problem. And it's one of those things that like it had taken me like 2 hours to figure out like, how the hell do I get that shot. Now it's just like baked into what we do. And it's one of those things that I'm really coming around to the whole like 10,000 hour rule, where you just naturally, it's just natural now. It's just things are flowing, and I'm even tricking my son and my wife into okay, let dad set the camera up. Oh, he's got to change that, he's got to change a lens or whatever the hell. But I think it's been I don't know. I don't know. It's enlightening, to say the least, when it comes to that 10,000 hour rule.
Oh, it is. And it's hours, but it can even be in just reps, right? Like whatever it is that you're saying, saying or doing, just writing something out, phrase, word tracks or whatever, yeah, it is. It can be just 10,000 reps of something too. But the hours, of course, is really where you're really becoming an expert. And that's basically what the rule is. It takes you 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. So I believe in it. I don't know if I've hit 10,000 hours at anything yet, but I know I've definitely put in a lot of hours at certain things. So it is, I believe in it. And when you really think about it too, when people, oh man, I'm struggling or I'm not doing good at whatever it is, it's like, well, how long? You just, it's the only question you have to ask. Well, how long have you been doing it? Oh, well, for couple weeks. Okay, how many hours a day do you spend on it? I don't know, like 20 minutes. Yeah, because when it comes down to it, people maybe spend an hour a week doing something. They've only been, it's like, so you put like 10 hours into this. Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah. What do you expect? You need to put 100 hours into this. What do we? So we will put 100 hours. I mean, it's been more, but 100 episodes in. So we're not even close to thousands of hours on
No, yeah.
our
We're nowhere near it.
podcast. So yeah.
We're nowhere
So
near it. But I mean, at the same time, I think it's something that, you put on your list to do and you go out and do it and you'll get there. You're gonna get to that 10,000 hour mark. I mean, and it's not crazy to think that, okay, yeah, it might take 10 years, but at the end of the 10 years, like, is it gonna be worth it? Probably. You're probably gonna have a skill set that is you're gonna kick everyone's ass at. That's for sure. Um, and it's something that, and again, it comes back to me at least. I have to enjoy it. I enjoy these conversations. I enjoy putting the content out. I enjoy putting it together and struggling with you for the first 37 minutes of the show because our fucking internet couldn't work, and I'm still blurry. I don't know why. My damn camera's not focused or whatever it is, which it's frustrating, but it is what it is. These are the reps that you need to put in, and at some point in time, we'll be these big shot podcasters that have editors and video production people. But until then, it's just you got to get these reps in.
no, for sure. And on top of that, I mean, it's one of those things too, is like how many people would have just been like, oh man, whatever, forget it. It's just not meant to be. That's one of the worst things I hate. It's not meant to be. The car sold, this happened. Like, well, no, it's just whatever it was something with the app, and because we got on Zoom now and it's working fine. So, it stuff happens, right? We'll try that app again next week and hopefully it's fine. And but even with that, right? People get so bent out of shape. So you just I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the short attention spans, and we live in such an instant gratification world where if just something's going wrong, they just throw it all away, right? That's we got to cancel this week's episode. It's just so it's one of those things that how can you overcome challenges? It's especially small challenges, because I see people get so bent out of shape out of small things like this, or even smaller. Just I don't. It could be something silly, and they just my day is ruined. Like why? Like it's who cares? Who cares that they ran out of your favorite drink, or you didn't get your food, or it dropped on the ground? I'll go get something out. Like it just keep going. Like it's not going to throw everything away just because of something so small. So
It's so I promise you, in Mexico, they're eating it off the ground. Okay, it's just the way it goes, right? These are very poor people. And the opportunities are just not there. It's one of those things that um I was having a chat with some foreigners about some of these, like, these issues and problems, and it's crazy because it's just not in the United States. These fucking people, oh my gosh, there's so many excuses out there, and it's driving me crazy. I've met so far a lot of, like, digital nomads and stuff, and I always ask them, the very similar questions of, like, what does your family think of you moving to Mexico for 6 months? And they're like, oh, everyone thinks I'm fucking nuts because they all think it's filled with violence, and it's too scary, it's too risky, it's there's no it's not enough, it's not safe enough, or it's filled with the cartel or whatever. And don't get me wrong, things can be bad. I mean, we're in a city that 5 or 6 weeks ago, a hitman literally shot a drug dealer. In the meantime, accidentally shot a DEA wife at a beach club, and then somehow the DEA agent came down and killed every drug dealer cartel member in the area, which is terrifying. But and you look at that story and you're like, that's awful. But God, how many times does that happen in Atlanta or LA or New York, or some of these horrible areas? And I realize that no matter where you're from, there's always going to be those people that are willing to just, like, give up. If something doesn't go their way, or the shit hits the ground, like, they're not going to eat it, and they fall apart, and they don't do the podcast for that week, or their internet sucks, and they don't find the solution, and it's and those people are everywhere, and you got to get the fuck away from them.
For sure. I mean, that is, I think, one challenge that a lot of people, or one thing that challenges people is finding solutions, right? Like that's why coaching and so many different things are so popular, because what people have is they've discovered solutions. And whatever that, someone has their issue, their problem, there is solutions out there. And even that, it's a mindset, right? So our mindset coaching is probably because the solution to some of those problems is just a mindset. Do you have the right mindset to just keep going, or it's not a big deal? Okay, well, it's fine. And a lot of people don't, and they get just bent out of shape and all messed up. But it is, yeah, and that's a crazy story. I think I heard of it. I don't know if you told me or someone else about that story there. And yeah, that stuff does happen, everywhere. We just don't hear about it locally here in the U.S. as much. Yeah, we hear about the Chicago stuff, maybe New York and LA. LA. They're just the really bad things, but it's not, to us still. It's just so far away. You don't really think about it. So that kind of crazy stuff does happen everywhere.
Well, and don't get me wrong, Nate. I do get pissed about things. Okay, I get very frustrated. I wanted to rip the fucking internet off the wall about 45 minutes ago. I was so mad. You want to accomplish this podcast, you want to get things done, and yeah, you're right. Like you can't, sometimes you can't solve all the problems, and you just got to move on and kind of skip this one. But at the same time, there's always a way. Like there's definitely always a way. And if you have that drive or that willpower, you'll get it done no matter what. It might not be the best 100th episode that you really want. I really don't want to do it on fucking Zoom. I hate Zoom. Zoom is horrible. The video quality sucks. It's got a timer on it. It's literally telling me, oh, you've only got 5 minutes and 45 seconds left until this podcast ends. And it drives me crazy. We don't have the freedom to keep going because they want me to buy their, $400 subscription every month. Which, Nate, when did these businesses all of a sudden become a subscription model on every single fucking product? It's always a monthly subscription. Back in 1998 when you could buy Windows 98 for like $100, and then you just had it. You just had it for the rest of your life. And you probably didn't use it for the rest of your life. But what's up with these subscriptions? My next business, I swear to God, is gonna be a one-time payment until we do it.
It's the way of the world now. I mean, everything is a subscription, whether it's apps on your phone, whether it's the things you get. I mean, everything, right? You could subscribe to food delivery, to, I mean, toilet paper. I don't know, whatever you need, it's on a subscription that you don't have. You set it and forget it, right? It's convenience. Yeah. It's going to be on the first. I'm going to open my door, and there's my Amazon deliveries of the things I subscribe to, or whatever it is. So. It's definitely the way of the world. Why and when did that exactly change? I don't know, but I was just scrolling, the other day, and just, you're right, that every single ad was some sort of subscription, a weightlifting box, a food box, like your food, like I said, it was just everything was there to subscribe to. So, but and don't get me wrong, I get mad. I usually just get mad at people, right? People that are lazy or just get all upset about things happening. That's right. That's what ticks me off. I just, like, if you want to talk about when I get upset, but
I would love to talk about it.
So we're down to 5 minutes. This is bringing back memories, because this is what we used to deal with every time. We're like, how many times do we forget about it and it just cuts off? We're like, oh.
It cuts off halfway through the conversation. Then we got to resend the fucking link. And then sure enough, we're like, all right, what were we talking about? And then we'll be like, oh yeah, we were talking about this. And then sure enough, like, me 37 minutes into the edit, and I'm like, what direction were we going in? Why are we going in this direction now? It's always, it's one of those crazy things. But it's I don't know. Are we gonna hit reset? Do you want to keep going?
I mean, I don't know. I think one thing we need to do that I've realized I don't think we did last episode, because this is, especially on episode 100, is just, if you've got to this far of the episode, hopefully you enjoy it. It's our 100th episode. But please like, subscribe, leave a review. I'm gonna say it all because we were just saying share the show, but on the 100th episode, we got to ask you to do it all, or do one of those things, because it all helps out, and we want to we want to grow this thing. We want to look back at episode, when we get to 200 or 500, and get our other milestones and just see where we've come. But it's just to kind of reflect. It's been enjoyable. I've enjoyed it. We've done it you've done it and all over the world. I'm always here in California, so I haven't. I take that back. I think I did one episode in Nevada, so I was in Reno, one time. Yeah, so I have done it outside of California. So but this is a worldwide podcast. Thanks to JC going to Mexico to Thailand to Bali to everywhere.
It is a worldwide podcast. That's for sure. We've done it in places that I never thought I was going to have internet, and somehow it fucking works. It always works, and I think it's I don't know. At least for me, like I've enjoyed this process. It's given me something to do every Wednesday, and something to look forward to, and something to study for. I never really understood how much I pay attention to the rest of the world for this podcast, dude. It's such an incredible way to learn, especially when you have to share what you learned. Like it's like a weekly book report, you know what I mean? Like we've got homework for each other every single week, and it's good though, because I think it allows you to grow and it allows you to get better, and then you also get to share that experience. It's been a hell of a journey, and I look forward to episode 1000. Hopefully we might be doing more than one podcast a week to try and beat Alex Hormozi. That's always been my goal, is to beat the rest of the world, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to start doing more to start catching up with everyone else. But hey, and eventually we'll have our own studio, and yeah, it'll be good.
Do you think we should get a studio? I want a studio so freaking bad. It's driving me crazy. I don't know what city it's going to be in. I don't know where it's going to be at. I was looking at property in Playa del Carmen to build out a studio. I go, that would be cool in Mexico. And then, maybe that'll be a business where people can come in and do a podcast or whatever. But dude, I think it'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll have it. That's, one of my things is eventually for my business, I want to have an office, a floor, right? Top floor on this huge office building. I'll have a dedicated studio in there maybe one day.
Absolutely. All right, Nate, till next time.
All right, take some action.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.